sometimes expect me to do something magical, and then it's very hard.
Julie Andrews has always been known as a symbol of kindness, grace, and calm strength. Even today, people think of her as the perfect mix of talent and elegance. But behind her famous smile, behind the gentle voice that millions love, there are stories that were never told in interviews or news headlines. These stories, filled with quiet pain and deep disappointments, shaped her life in ways most fans never realized. Her journey through Hollywood was not always a dream. Sometimes it was filled with decisions that hurt her, people who misunderstood her, and choices she never agreed with. And many of these hurts began with one moment in 1964, when Julie was performing on stage in London's West End. She had played the role of Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady for years. She helped shape the character. She gave Eliza her humor, her charm, her heart, and most important, her unforgettable singing voice. Julie was young, bright, hopeful, and proud of everything she had achieved. After one sold-out show, she returned to her dressing room, expecting nothing more than flowers and congratulations. But instead, she received a telegram from Warner Brothers. The message was short. It simply said that Audrey Hepburn, not Julie, had been chosen to play Eliza in the upcoming movie version. No explanation. No call. No warning. Julie read the message twice. Her smile faded. She felt something inside her go completely still. She could not understand why she had been passed over for the role she had carried on her shoulders night after night. She did not cry, shout, or complain. She simply placed the telegram on her vanity, put on her coat, and walked quietly into the cold night. What she did not show anyone was how deeply this decision cut. People around her believed she took the news with grace, but inside, it felt like someone had pulled away a part of her identity. This role meant something to her. It was more than just a job. It was her creation. And suddenly, she was no longer part of it. Hollywood politics played the largest role in the decision. Audrey Hepburn was a bigger name. She was already a worldwide star, and Warner Brothers wanted a guaranteed success. Julie, at that time, was seen mainly as a stage actress, someone talented but not yet a bankable movie star. But what hurt even more was the silence that followed. Audrey never reached out to Julie, not a letter, not a call, not even a simple word of kindness at events they later attended. Julie admired Audrey as a performer, but she quietly wished there had been some recognition of the situation. The two women never fought, never argued, never showed any bitterness publicly. But something unspoken always lingered when they were in the same room, like a soft, invisible wall. And then came the final sting. Audrey's singing voice in the film was dubbed over. The world had expected to hear Julie's strong, crystal-clear voice, the voice that made Eliza famous, but instead, they heard a mix of Audrey's real singing and a replacement voice. Many felt it was unfair. Even people in Hollywood wondered why Julie had not been chosen. It was a strange twist of fate that in the very same year, Julie won the Academy Award for Mary Poppins. Some believed the Academy gave it to her as a quiet apology, a way to balance the injustice of her losing My Fair Lady. Julie accepted the award with her usual warmth and humbleness. She thanked everyone who had helped her, and she smiled for the cameras. But deep inside, part of her felt that the victory did not erase the pain. It wasn't about winning. It was about what could have been. And things became harder when she learned that her former co-star from the stage version, Rex Harrison, had not supported her during the film casting. In fact, he had allegedly suggested she was too inexperienced and too proper for the movie. Rex was known for his charm but also for his ego, and many insiders believed he did not want Julie in the film because he feared she would receive more attention. This hurt Julie more than the studio decision. Rex had worked with her for years. He knew her heart and her talent. To hear that he did not stand up for her felt like a betrayal from someone she had trusted. Years later, during a quiet conversation with a friend, she finally admitted that Rex had played a part in keeping her away from the film. She had carried that disappointment for decades. The story became one of the many quiet wounds Julie kept hidden from the public. And yet, she did not let bitterness shape her. She continued working, continued singing, and continued smiling, even when the world did not see what she had endured. But this was only the beginning. More hurts, misunderstandings, and disappointments lay ahead, some from friends, some from colleagues, and some from the very people she loved most. As Julie's career continued, she faced more difficult moments that tested her strength in ways the public never saw. One of the most painful experiences came from a surprising source, Henry Mancini, the legendary composer known for his unforgettable melodies. Julie had admired him for years. She respected his talent, his creativity, and the way he made music feel warm and full of life. So when she was invited to perform at a concert he was directing, she felt honored. She walked into the rehearsal with excitement, ready to work together and create something beautiful. At first, everything was going well. The orchestra played smoothly. Julie sang with her natural control and clarity. Everyone seemed pleased. But then, in the middle of a run-through, Mancini suddenly stopped the music. He looked at Julie and spoke loudly enough for everyone to hear, "Let's try that again, with a little less choir girl, and a little more woman." The room fell silent. Musicians shifted uncomfortably. Julie felt her stomach tighten. His words were not just about the notes. They felt personal. They felt like a criticism of her identity, her voice, and the way she had spent her entire life singing. Still, she did not argue. She nodded politely and continued singing. She finished the rehearsal without showing any sign of hurt. But that night, she returned home and quietly told a close friend that the comment had shaken her. She felt as though he was trying to reshape her into something she was not. She stopped working with him after that day. And even though she never criticized him publicly, she referred to him privately as the man who tried to rewrite my soul. But professional hurts were only part of what Julie endured. She also faced disappointment from people she admired deeply. One such example was Emma Thompson, a brilliant actress and writer known for her sharp wit and warm charm. Julie respected Emma and believed they shared similar values, elegance, intelligence, and kindness. So when Emma began working on the film Nanny McPhee, Julie felt a quiet hope. She wondered if she might be invited to appear in the movie, even for a small role, as a sign of respect for her legacy in family films. She reached out gently through her agent, not demanding anything, just expressing interest. But the response that came back was shocking. A producer who witnessed the decision later said that Emma's reply was cold and formal. "Julie's era has passed. We're going for something different." Julie felt the words like a small but sharp cut. She did not blame Emma. She did not complain. But she did feel a kind of sadness that only comes when someone you admire does not value you in return. She never watched the film because, in her own words, "I think it would hurt too much." She believed that sometimes, the people we look up to can disappoint us the most. Another unexpected pain came from the world of music again, this time from Barbra Streisand. For years, fans dreamed of hearing Julie and Barbra sing together. People imagined their voices blending, creating something magical. Music insiders discussed the idea. Record labels were interested. But the duet never happened. Later, Julie learned why. A private comment made by Barbra had spread quietly through their circle. Barbra had said that Julie was technically perfect but emotionally distant. It was not meant to be public. But it reached Julie anyway. And it hurt. Julie had always spoken kindly of Barbra, calling her talented, bold, and brave. To hear such a criticism from someone she admired felt like a crack forming inside her. Still, she stayed silent in public, as always. The only response she ever gave was during an interview, when someone asked if she would ever sing with Barbra. Julie smiled politely and replied, "Some voices don't blend." It was a gentle sentence, but those who knew the story understood its deeper meaning. Yet none of these pains compared to the quiet heartbreak she experienced with her husband, Blake Edwards. They had worked together on several films. He understood her talent better than anyone. Their love story seemed strong and timeless. But then came the movie S.O.B. in 1981, a dark comedy Blake directed. For the first time in her entire career, Julie was asked to appear topless in a scene. Blake believed it would be funny, bold, unexpected, a twist on her good girl image. Julie trusted him, both as a director and a husband. She agreed, even though she felt nervous. But when the film came out, it created a storm of reactions. Many fans were confused. Some were angry. The media mocked the scene. Julie felt exposed in a way she had never experienced. She later told close friends that she felt Blake had taken advantage of her trust. She wondered whether the joke was really worth the cost. Their marriage survived, but the wound did not disappear completely. She forgave him, but she never forgot how the decision made her feel. It shook the foundation of the safe partnership she believed they had. Still, Julie chose grace. She continued to support him even after moments that left her heart heavy. And finally, there was Walt Disney. Many consider him the man who gave Julie her greatest gift, the role of Mary Poppins. That film made her a star. It opened doors, created opportunities, and made her a household name. But Disney also placed heavy expectations on her. He wanted her to be Mary Poppins, not only in the movie, but off-screen too. He expected her to maintain a perfect image at all times. When she hoped to take on more complex roles after Mary Poppins, Disney's team advised her not to ruin the image. Julie later admitted that while she loved Walt, she struggled with the pressure he placed on her. She felt she was trapped between gratitude and limitation. She once told a friend, "Walt gave me wings but asked me not to fly." This heartbreak shaped her more quietly than the others. It was not anger. It was sadness, the kind that stays with a person for a long time. Through all these moments, 7 deep disappointments from 7 people she trusted, Julie remained kind, calm, and gentle. But each wound left a mark on her life, teaching her that even the softest voices can carry the heaviest stories. Now, looking back over her long life, Julie Andrews has finally begun to share her story, not through anger, not through revenge, but with simple honesty. At 89 years old, she no longer feels the need to hide the truth behind her smile. She knows her experiences can help others understand that fame does not protect anyone from pain, and kindness does not stop the world from being unfair. She once said that people expected her to be magical, perfect, even angelic, but she always knew she was human. She made mistakes, felt heartbreak, and carried disappointments just like everyone else. The difference was that she kept these feelings private for decades because she wanted the world to see beauty, not sadness. Now, she speaks softly about those years. She explains that the casting loss in My Fair Lady taught her about the harshness of Hollywood politics, and that sometimes talent is not enough to win a role. She shares how Audrey Hepburn's silence left a bruise on her heart, even though she still respected Audrey as an actress. She talks about Rex Harrison with calm acceptance, understanding that ego often drives people to protect their own careers first. She remembers Henry Mancini's comment and admits how deeply it shook her confidence, making her question her voice, the very gift that shaped her life. She reflects on Emma Thompson's rejection, not with bitterness, but with the quiet understanding that the entertainment world always moves on, and that younger artists will make choices older generations cannot control. She thinks about Barbra Streisand's private remark and realizes that sometimes people praise us publicly while judging us privately, and that true respect is more precious than talent alone. She talks gently about Blake Edwards, acknowledging that their marriage was strong but human. She forgave him, but she also recognizes that trust can be fragile, even between partners who love each other. And finally, she speaks about Walt Disney with a mix of love and sorrow. She appreciates the opportunities he gave her, but she also understands now that being placed on a pedestal can feel like being locked in a cage. Julie explains that she spent many years trying to live up to everyone's expectations, trying to be the perfect woman the world imagined. But over time, she realized that being perfect was not her job. Being real was more important. She says she wishes she had been a little braver in her youth, brave enough to say no, brave enough to speak up, brave enough to demand the respect she had earned. But she also knows that each disappointment taught her something valuable. Every hurt strengthened her. Every unspoken pain made her wiser, softer, and more compassionate. Today, she looks at her life not with regret, but with gratitude. She understands that the betrayal she experienced did not define her. What defined her was how she responded, with grace, dignity, and resilience. She remained kind even when others were careless. She stayed calm even when others acted selfishly. She kept singing even when the world tried to silence her voice. And as she looks back, she knows now that her true power was never in her fame, her awards, or her roles. Her true power was in her ability to rise above every hurt without letting it poison her heart. She became stronger than the disappointments. She became brighter than the shadows. She became a symbol not just of talent, but of courage, patience, and inner strength. And that is why Julie Andrews remains beloved across generations. Not because she never suffered, but because she transformed her suffering into wisdom. Not because her life was perfect, but because she survived its imperfections with grace. Her voice may be quieter now, but it carries more truth than ever. She is finally sharing the stories she hid for so long, not to blame, but to heal. Not to expose others, but to reveal her own humanity. She is proving that even icons can be broken, hurt, and disappointed. Yet they can still stand tall, still shine, and still inspire millions. Julie Andrews has lived a life filled with both magic and heartbreak. And through every moment, she has shown that true strength does not come from never falling, it comes from rising again and again with kindness still intact. Her story reminds us that behind every gentle voice, behind every graceful smile, there might be a story of pain. But pain does not have to destroy us. It can shape us, teach us, and make us stronger. Julie Andrews carried her wounds with quiet dignity. Now, she finally lets the world see them. And in doing so, she shows that even the sweetest soul can hold powerful strength inside. Her story is not just about betrayal. It is about endurance. It is about rising above. It is about finding one's voice, even when others try to control it. And now, at last, her voice, strong, soft, wise, and true, is finally being heard as she always wished it would be.